Hi, and welcome back to another episode of STS Knows Best. I am the Steak Technology Specialist, Jared, and today I'm going to do a bit of a different kind of video. So a lot of my videos I've done before have been very long form videos, which means I'm stepping you through stuff and giving you explanations the whole way through. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to do a speed run of setting up an entire OBS broadcast solution on a laptop from a clean slate. So that way there's kind of a way that you can just watch through a bit of all I've done in all of my other videos in one short run through. So it's kind of a bit of a speed run, so you can see how fast you can actually put one together without all the explanation and just go through this faster. And if you want to just pause as you need so you can follow along with me and do like a quicker speed run of setting one up without having to understand all the whys that I gave you in my other videos, then this might be the video for you. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get started right now. First thing, this is a blank slate laptop I've got in front of me. I didn't even set up a new account. So what I always do with this is I first set up my account, my Microsoft account on this. And then I go back and I do an offline account, or like a guest account. So I'm gonna call this Broadcaster, and I'm not going to give this any special permissions, so this local account is not going to be able to do anything. So now that I've gotten that account set up, I'm going to sign myself out and sign in to the new Broadcaster account that I just created. There's going to be a lot of jump cuts because I don't want to have you sit there and watch this first account get set up. Okay, nothing's on this computer. It's a clean slate. First thing I'm going to do is get my browser open. I'm not going to synchronize it or link it with anything. And I'm going to download OBS. I don't want to go through the store. I'm going to go through the actual website. I'm also going to, while I'm at it, if I can spell right, download Zoom. And I know I'm going to need this later, might as well get it now. Download NDI tools. And I know I'm going to need this too, the OBS NDI plugin. And the OBS PTZ plugin. This is the one I like to use. Perfect. Now let's start installing these things. Now if I open up my downloads, they'll all be there. I'm going to start with OBS. This is a local account, meaning not tied into a Microsoft account that I'm currently using. And this is also a standard account, which means it can't do its own installs. But the reason why I was able to get this to work by still installing it is that because I created another account, I used my other account's credentials to do the installations. Other users who are not authorized or don't have an admin account on this computer, they won't be able to uninstall or install apps. Okay, finished installing. I'm going to let OBS open while I start installing Zoom. All right, first time you open it, what do you want to do? I'm just going to use it for the virtual camera, so I'm going to click that. All right, so since the last video I made and now, one thing you might notice is that it looks different. There has been an update, a major update to the UI of OBS, and now it has the levels used to be horizontal, like down here, and now when you do a clean install, well, they change from vertical to horizontal. That's a new change. Kind of found that I like this new horizontal or vertical layout instead of horizontal, so I'm going to leave it that way. Okay, now I'm going to close OBS again, because now I want to install my plugins. And I'm going to get NDI tools. Oh, something else I should have downloaded earlier. Might as well do that real quick now. I need the 64-bit version of VLC. And as I mentioned in another video, it does need to be the 64-bit version, so make sure you get the installer for 64-bit. Don't get the 32-bit version of VLC, it won't do what you need. Okay, while that's installing, there's not much else I could do on that part, so I'll start getting some other things set up. Under C drive, users, there is a public user. I'm going to put all the dependencies like the music files and all those things in the public folder. That way it's equally accessible to any user account. So that way if I need them for my personal account that I have on here, or if I need them for broadcasters need them, they all have same access. So here I've got my broadcast folder I saved on a flash drive with a lot of other things that I've used. And under, I'm just going to actually take the whole, under public documents, I'm going to take my whole broadcasts folder here from my flash drive and then copy it all onto the local drive. And most of what this is Tabernacle Choir music for hold screens and Tabernacle Choir videos for like sacrament hold. And I'll be setting all that up very soon. NDI is taking a while to install because it has some dependencies like some .NET updates. So that's going to slow down my speed run a little bit. Okay, broadcast folder was transferred. Don't need the flash drive anymore. I don't want to jump into OBS and start configuring it right now, but I think I'll start customizing my layout at least. I don't want users to use the store or Office, the 365 stuff. I do want to add Zoom. Another thing I like to do, since I'm going to be using this broadcast folder a lot, is I'm going to bring it over to this section here, pin it to quick access. So anytime I need to get to my resources I've put in here, I just one click to broadcasts, and then everything's right there. All right, NDI is done installing. Since I've already got OBS installed but closed, now is a good time to go ahead and get VLC installed. Okay, everything's installed. I have all my dependencies. I've opened up files and folders to make sure everything is there. I'm going to get rid of that shortcut on the desktop. I don't think everyone needs VLC visible for the broadcasting. All right, now let's get into OBS and get some stuff figured out. Takes a little while to load, especially when it's a new install or you just added some other features. Okay, perfect. First thing I want to do is turn it on studio mode. Ugh, scenes over here, I don't like that at all. This layout is not working for me. That's a little better. Okay, so I have sources and then scenes. Let's swap that around. No, not on top of each other. Okay. It's starting to get better. Oh, I just remembered there is one other download dependency that I need. Very important one. In fact, I'm going to close OBS again. I need my virtual AB cable. Get the new package. So, extract here. There we are. Delete the old one, it's redundant now. And let's go find the executable for this. 64-bit version, of course. Run it as admin. And install that driver. All right, done. Now it recommends I do a reboot, and frankly, just because I don't want to have glitches and I'm trying to speed run, I think it probably is faster to go ahead and give this a reboot. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Quick reboot on this. Okay, back from my reboot, no problem. Give it a second for everything to catch up to the reboot. And let's get back into OBS. Okay, first scene, I'm going to call this scene main. Let's add some sources. I already have an NDI source available. I'm going to call this PTZ main. You can call it whatever you want, anytime you want. That's just what I felt like calling it. Luckily, it already shows up because of already having it set up on the network. And enable audio is on. And it fills the screen perfectly. Nice, okay. Yeah, all right. And you'll notice it's already here as a sound source. So I'm going to mute the other two. And then while I'm in here, now that I've got PTZ main in there, I need it to monitor and output. But it's not going to go anywhere unless I change some very important settings. So let's go ahead and do that now. Audio monitoring device needs to go out to the cable AB. That's really the only super vital change in the settings that we need. I could actually broadcast already right now if I wanted to, but let's keep going. Let's make a welcome screen. Let's add an image. Got my handy shortcut, glad I got that there. All right, and then let's make that big. Looks good. Now let's add some text. Let's do the name of the ward. Two spaces, 46 ward, 2 more spaces. I mentioned in another video, I do that so it looks better when I add this background gradient. I give the gradient a 70. And then I center this. Well, I don't need it that large and obnoxious, so let's bring it down a little bit. And then transform, centered horizontally. And I feel like my picture is not quite, there we go, that's better. All right, now let's add another text. Call it sacrament meeting, 2 spaces, sacrament meeting, 2 spaces. Scroll down, give it a 70% background opacity. And let's bring it down. I like to put it over my reflection pond. Looks nice. And let's do a real quick centering on the screen. Done. Now I want to have some music play when they're on this. So I go to VLC video. And I'm going to say hymns. That's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to loop and shuffle. I'm going to hit the plus, add a directory, go back up to my broadcast folder. Here's my church hymns folder. Select that folder. And I'm going to have it pause, not stop, and unpause when visible. You can change that setting whatever you want. It works either way, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then now, once I transition, on my program side, I have a new audio source. Every time you add a new audio source, you got to go in here and make sure you set it to monitor and output. Now in active, I have hymns. PTZ main is in preview, so it won't show up here. I'm going to bring that down a little because I don't need it that loud. It's just background music. Now we've got my welcome screen, and we've got my main. Pretty good so far. Those are only 2 real important ones you need, but let's also do a sacrament hold video screen now. Add another VLC video source, and we'll say tab videos is what we're going to call this. I'm going to loop and shuffle. This one I prefer to stop when not visible and restart when visible. That way, if I ever come out and back in, they don't come in the middle of a hymn. They come in the beginning of a video. All right, I'm going to hit plus, go to my MoTab vids, hit OK, done. Now I want to also have people see a little message that lets them know what they're looking at. So I'm going to say hold message is what I'm creating here. I'm going to say, please stand by as we bless and pass the sacrament. All right, I feel like I need to rearrange that so it looks nicer. There we go. And then let's put some spaces in there to get that centered. Make sure there's 2 extra spaces on either side. Looks good. Go down here and give it that 70% gradient. It's too big, obviously, so let's get this shrunk down. I like to put this a little higher than I normally would put other text, just because there is a, at the bottom of these videos, it'll show the name of the song. I don't want to go over that other text that's already on the screen, so I put it up just a skosh higher, but still just kind of at the top of that lower third. Yeah, right about there. Now I have to recenter it because I was goofing with it. Transform, center. Okay, now it's transition. Make sure it works. And it does work. However, let me transition back. I did not make sure my tab videos filled the screen properly. So let's transform and fit to screen. Now transition again. There it goes. Looks nice and pretty. We added another audio element. So again, I have to come back here. And now for tab videos, go to monitor and output. Now that's good to go. So now I've got those scenes. Now sometimes, every once in a while, I'm going to want to have a scene that is similar to this, except just a background image and some music instead of a full-on video. So to do that, I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to call it Sacrament Hold Music instead. I'm going to use the same image I used before. So instead of creating a new one, I'm going to go to Add Existing and pull that up. And I'm going to just make a quick snap up like that. Put it a little more centered. Good. And I am actually going to use the same text that I already used on the other video, which was the hold message. It imports it large. Adjusting it here will not make it look different there unless I change the text. But resizing and relocating it on the scene does not affect the source. All right, now I could put the word up on top, but I think I'll just leave it like that. Now, you know what? Maybe I will. Why not? I already have it from somewhere else anyway. So I'm going to add 46 word up at the top so they can see what they're here for. Okay, let's right-click and transform that. And right-click and transform that. Now I need to add that music like I did before on the welcome page. So VLC video. I already have one I created called Hymns, so I'll reuse that. Now it should already be set to monitor and output, but it is not. Because you have to do it for every new scene. And I don't want desktop audio. I don't want any other audio going out. I want just that. Okay, so now that scene is ready to go. So now I've got and I'm going to put my welcome up on top because I like these in chronological order. Then I have my main. Then I have my sacrament hold music and video. I want video on top because I use that more often. Just for fun, let's go ahead and do another one. I like to do Sacrament Christmas video. And so what that one is it's very similar, but I got a series of other videos, other Tabernacle Choir Christmas songs. And so I'm going to add that one. Now, I guess the speed run doesn't quite count if you're saying I have to also include all of the download time to get all these, but I don't think that, I think it still counts. Okay, I resized it to fit the screen, and I'm going to bring in that same text, sacrament hold message, there it is. And then I'm going to resize it down, still too big. That's about right. I probably should have exact measurements that I always use, but I don't. Okay, right click, transform, center, transition. There it is, looks really nice. Now I'm added a new audio source with that new video, so I've got to go here and monitor and output. Now, when I do a Christmas, when they have sacrament on a Christmas day, they'll get these Christmas MoTab videos instead, which I kind of like. Okay, next step, let's go ahead and duplicate my main scene and create main 2. And if you saw my other videos, the purpose of doing a main 2 is because I like to have the names of the speakers, and I create a second one for that. I'm going to call this speaker 1. I'm going to put in a placeholder name, 2 spaces, 2 spaces, put it at 70%, and bring it down to the middle here. Shrink it down to an appropriate size. And then I'm going to right click and transform it to be centered. Now I'm going to add another one called speaker 2. 2 spaces. I'm just going to use the same name for the practice one or for the setup. When I get real members speaking, I will just change the names every week as the meeting's about to begin or once I get the program. And throw it right on top. Same size, same name. And I do like to do 3 speakers. So I'll do one more, and then we'll be good to go. Because sometimes you have 3 speakers in a meeting, or even more, but usually 3 speakers is enough. Oh, I guess I could just call it speaker 3 for placeholder, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to have to recenter these every time I do a new name. So remember that, is you have to realign them, because every time you have a new name, you're going to have a new alignment. Let me turn that on to make sure I'm in the same ballpark for size. And I am. Yeah, it's the same size. Perfect. All right. Now I'm going to leave this one on. And so the way that works is we're in there, so-and-so is speaking. So I go here, turn on the transition for the title, turn it off when I'm done. Easy. Okay, since I've got that set up, let's also add our 3 most regular returning speakers. The bishop. Again, change that name once you have your bishop name figured out. That is something that doesn't change except for once every 5 years or so, so that should be an easy one to maintain. I'm going to bring bishop in line with the other sizes. Okay, nice. And then I have my first and second counselor, so I want to add them as well. Two spaces on either side, give it a nice border for the shading. If you're not using shading, you don't need to waste the energy of putting in those extra spaces. Okay, and one last one for my second counselor. Space, space, and I'll use the same placeholder name again. If I was setting up for a real ward right now, I would just put in their real names. And people are coming in, my video is going to be damaged. Great. Okay. Main 1, main 2, complete. Names all loaded in here, complete. Now, I still haven't set up my PTZ controls. Probably should have done that sooner. Let's go ahead and get that done.
Hello.
Go to Docs, go to PTZ controls. Gonna pop out scene transitions and get rid of those. I don't need that. All right, PTZ controls. Let's get my camera loaded. Okay, typing in the IP address. I'm going to use the default UDP port. If that doesn't work, I'll have to go look into the settings and see what UDP port it is using. Let's apply and see if I got that right. Yep, it worked. Perfect. Now this camera already had PTZ controls created, or presets made. So I'm just going to double click on it and see what it is and then rename it. That's speaker close. I'll bet you number 2 is chorister. Nope, that's speaker medium. Let's see what number 3 is. 3 is the whole rostrum. There we go. And number 4 is our chorister. All right, I'm not going to keep adding. That's all I need for now. Proof of concept. All right, let's go back to my welcome screen and put my hold thing on the side. Someone else is here doing something. Okay. So I think we're ready for everything to go live at this point. Now I need to get into Zoom, sign in, start broadcasting, and this speed run will be done. I got to change some settings first. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, first, need to make sure I'm using the correct source. OBS virtual camera. Take off mirroring, add HD. No backgrounds, no avatars, none of that stuff. For audio, the microphone needs to be set to AB cable. So that's whatever's going to be coming out of my other thing. And it needs to be original sound for musicians. And why not make it audio, stereo audio, in case, for the music. And high fidelity music mode is going to make a difference. Okay, those are the settings you need to change. Now let's go ahead and get that meeting going. Okay, audio is the cable A/B. Speaker's not a big deal. Let's start. Okay, I'm getting an error message. Oh, that's because I didn't have this virtual camera turned on. My bad. Okay. And there it is. And then I can see here, I got sound bouncing. So there we go, I'm live. Now, if I want to just do a quick test as if I was doing a real meeting, I like to pop this up here. I also like to pop up participants and pop that out. So that way I can see all the participants on the side, get an attendance count for the presiding authorities. Before church starts, this is what they see. When it's time to start, this is what they see. I can also throw on the subtitles. Sacrament, oh yeah, then let's say I'll jump to the chorister, back to the speaker. Now it's time for the sacrament ordinance. I can see what it looks like here. Back to the meeting. Meeting's over, chorister, closing prayer, end of the meeting. Done. That is a speed run, getting everything ready in just a few minutes to make the world's best broadcast for your meeting house, stake, ward, whatever it is. I hope this worked out well for you. Hope you're able to see what you need to see and that you got all your questions answered. That was a quick speed run. Really made things, I think, look simpler than when I did the long explanation from before. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can put them in the comments down below. Thank you again for joining me on STS Knows Best, and I am your stake technology specialist, Jared. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.